Right, what are we doing today? Yeah, let's have a look at some engine painting. But before we start, if at any time during the video you find it at all useful or even mildly entertaining, give it a thumbs up. And of course subscribe down here if you haven't already. Welcome back to Tink's Garage. Today we're going to be looking at engine painting. What kind of paints to use and some rather crafty little masking techniques that might be of help. So stay tuned. And I know, if you want to do it properly, you take the whole thing apart and get it powder coated, I suppose. But some of us can't afford that or don't want to do that. And you can get a perfectly good finish with it's a nice winter's day, and I'm resigned to cleaning and painting parts of this motor because it needs it. So it's time to degrease it. Yeah, that involves our friend Mr. O'Reilly's foamy engine degreaser. But first I think I want to plug those up somehow. Don't forget your toothbrush. As I think I said before, the engine block itself is actually not bad. So I'm hoping I don't have to paint that, and that's kind of cleaned up quite nicely. Obviously this needs painting, and where we blur that in, I don't know. But now we've got all the grease off, or at least the bulk of it, we can take it inside, let it dry off, and review the situation. Anyway, let's let that all dry off and see what we got. Still a bit grubby in there, isn't it? I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'm just messing around at the moment, but I think I can mask off that little area quite nicely. It'll be fiddly, but what I'm thinking is just that bit in orange, yeah, and then mask it off here as well, and then black all the rest of it. And I think this is wet, obviously, but I think I'm going to have to paint the block, which I didn't really want to. Let's get the start motor cover off, paint that up. Well, I've got the orange paint out, so we're going ahead with plan A. And we're using the penny trick. Yes, we've taken the spark plugs out and blocked the holes with pennies. Not sure how we're going to get them out again, but we'll come to that later. Oh, I know. Quite the masking operation. Didn't take that long, actually. I just don't know if I can get everywhere with the paint. That's going to be interesting. Well, not knowing whether our POR paint was heat resistant, I've had to use the engine enamel, obviously. And yeah, that's a lot of paint in there. That's okay. I think I've got everywhere. We'll see. I think I got it everywhere I wanted and nowhere I didn't. That's the good stuff about that paint. It's kind of very directional, so there's no overspray. Looks kind of cool, I think. Maybe. Meanwhile, this is coming along nicely. Meantime, how's our orange paint coming along? There, that's a slightly better look at it. Now we've got the bags out of the way. I'm going to wait a little bit longer for a little bit more dryage before I unmask the rest of it, especially that bit where it might drip. Because I layered it on pretty thick, as you can see. But I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think that looks pretty damn cool. The overall effect, I think, is pretty bloody cool. When everything else is going to be matte black and silver. Nice. There you go. Right, this could be fun. This is removing the penny trick with a chopstick and some blue tape. Oh, look at that. Sweet. And there's that done until it dries. And then we're going to sand, gently sand, all those ribs silver. Meanwhile, my 2 pence worth, I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah. And in situ, not finished yet, obviously. What we have decided is that we need to paint the block itself, which I really didn't want to do, but having cleaned it up, you know, it would be rude not to, right? I don't want to, but I'm going to have to. So what I think we're going to do is take the carburetors off, because we can do that. Let's get these carbs off. Well, of course, it's an Allen key. No, I shall put them in the carburetor box with the old ones. No, I mean not the from the other bike. That's the back end sorted out, barring cleaning, of course. I don't know what I want to do on the front. I really don't want to take the exhaust off. I really, really don't want to take the exhaust off because it's all set and it's perfect. Rude not to paint those orange, wouldn't you say, Mr. Less is More? We're finishing off the masking. And it's quite the operation. We probably should have done the orange after the black. Hence the almost surgical mask. No, actually, I probably should wear that mask when I'm painting it, because there's going to be a lot of paint and a lot of fumes. So, safety first, everybody. And let's go on with it. So pretty much where we left off, just a little bit of progress, masking everything up, still avoiding any electrical issues at this point. And on the masking front, seeing as I haven't filled it up with oil again, having drained a lot of it out when I took that off by mistake, I'm going to take those covers off, do my plastic bag trick. Yep, that plastic bag trick there. Yep. So that'll sort them out, and then we're kind of done, honestly. So pipes, I'm not going to do the front at the moment. I'm going to bleed the paint in. So I shall just use manoeuvrable bits of cardboard to mask as I go, which is quite the art. And usually effective, but nothing a little bit of acetate won't take off. Acetate? No, that's a plastic film for overhead projectors. Acetone, that's what I meant. The younger amongst you won't even know what that is. But it's okay, because you're probably not watching, because this has already gone past 2 minutes, and that's beyond your attention span. I'm not doing myself any favours with the younger audience, am I? We love you, really. Stay tuned. You might learn something. Anyway, I digress, and when all that masking is ready, we'll be spraying the engine with semi-gloss black, which is kind of akin to what the frame's in. It's actually quite glossy. Well, I've been cleaning up the fins as best I can, as you can see on the far left. which involves a flathead screwdriver, a rag, and some very old English foaming cleanser. Yes, which actually, I think I pointed out before, is exactly the same as this stuff. Multi-purpose foaming prep cleaner. Yeah, it's the same kind of stuff. Good for computers, keyboards, and all kinds of things. So that's tedious. Well, it's by no means perfect or concourse, but I think it's good enough for the purposes of paint adhesion. At least it bloody better be. Talking of which, I think I mentioned earlier that I thought this might be factory black. Well, it's not. It's a pretty crappy paint job, honestly. It's all coming off. Yeah, so that's why we're having to repaint it. Bagged up like a Christmas turkey. Yeah. Just protecting the exhaust from any overspray. I think the front wheel will be fine. I think we're good to go. Hope it fits. I think that looks pretty good too. Yeah, this paint really got in there in the fins actually. Very impressive. Quite a sticky aerosol to use, but I think we got a pretty good job on that. Of course, one never knows whether the masking has been successful until one unmasks it, so fingers crossed, eh? Lovely. Did I say that already? As does this. Alright, let's unwrap it. Say that was pretty bloody successful actually. Yeah, good masking involved, good coat of paint, everything looks pretty damn nice. Except of course for the front. Yes, I knew I was going to have to do this. I'm still debating whether I take the pipes off or not. So I'll just have to think about it. Anyway, very pleased with it. So that's your basic engine painting, masking, cleaning, degreasing, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm just gonna show you another clip with that plastic bag trick to mask like engine covers, clutch covers, things like that. If you want to do that, as opposed to painting them as well. So stay tuned, and then we'll look at another engine paint job, which is a little bit different. This is a cunning plan. Well, it's a masking plan. First off, I am going to be probably replacing all those horrible Phillips heads. Yes, not a good idea. So they'll be replaced with Allen bolts, hopefully. Anyway, this is the clutch cover, and this doesn't matter so much. So I'm not going to worry about masking that. I'm just going to take off my nicely painted anodized effect cover, keep it safe, and clean it up a little bit while I got it off, which I should have already done. And I'm just going to let the paint bleed into that. That's not a problem. However, we have the points, which probably don't do well with paint. And there it is, simple but genius. yeah, just a plastic bag. So what I did was, as you can see, put the plastic bag on the inside, and yes, I put it on upside down, so what? Put the plastic bag on the inside of the cover, screwed it into place, and there we have one perfect bloody masking. How clever is that? Yeah, not very, but I'm sure somebody's done it before. There you go. Job done. So let's have a look at that other paint job I was talking about. It's different because rather than your standard black, low gloss, high gloss, whatever, I actually went for a colour and didn't like the colour, so overlaid it with some anodizing paint, which is also heat resistant, and see what you think of the end result. Oh, and on this one, I sanded down the edges of the fins, so you get those nice little silver edges on the fins. Yes, we are wrapping it up, ready to spray the actual cylinder heads. Yeah, cool. Obviously a way to go. Yeah. Getting there with the wrapping. There's certain bits that I'm not that worried about overspray, like the frame, obviously, because I'm still going to paint that afterwards. And yeah, so we're getting to the point where we can paint the motor. And obviously by choosing to do the cylinder heads blue rather than the black, which I'm using for the rest of it, I've made life very difficult for myself, haven't I? As if life isn't complicated enough already. Yes, more cleaning with all the tools known to man, including chopsticks and Brillo pads, Scotch-Brite, whatever. Anyway, I think we're ready to paint. You know me by now, of course I'm going to paint it. Well, like I said, I wasn't worried about the overspray on the frame. A little bit on the bell air, obviously, which is why I had some protective gear. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of marine-ish, isn't it? It's kind of turquoisey, I don't know. Let's see what it looks like in the morning, I suppose. The cold light of day. Anyway, I can always paint it black. And as with the rest of the blue, semi-gloss, low gloss, whatever black I did, I laid it on thick because I'm not worried about it running, because it's going to basically drip and run off the fins, which I'm going to sand down anyway. So yeah, we're good. Laid it on thick. Yeah, maybe too much blues going on here. It's a bit of a clash. It's a suck it and see basis. I'm gonna have to live with it for a bit. Yeah, same day, that didn't take long. Yeah, colour clashed horribly. So apparently this stuff is to the same 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So we shall see. And I like that. That looks good. And it's just a light coating on top of the other one. So let's see what that turns out like in the morning. Okay. I think you'll all agree that looks a lot better than the turquoise. Well, the turquoise was nice, it just clashed. AMC blue, yeah, nice colour. Lid, not helpful in any way, shape or form. So interestingly, while this turned out to be the end result, or well, it might not. It depends what it looks like with the black casing and the tank and everything else. But you know, it was a process, because if I'd have just put this on straight off the bat, I don't think that would have worked. So I needed some kind of undercoat, and that could have been our old faithful, our Suzuki blue. Yeah, whatever that is. I think it's Pontiac. I don't know. Anyway, AMC, yeah, nice colour. When I decide to do a turquoise bike, I guess. That's more like it. Yeah. Let's just hope it holds up to the heat. Yeah, so that's all good, right? Yeah, nice. Just have to sand down the silver bits. the fins. I was going to do the great unveiling, unwrap the masking and let you see what it looked like. But whilst it looks good from an angle, it's difficult to get the paint in the fins, in between the fins, as you can see. So I'm having to do it a little bit extra there. Yeah, so that's tricky. I fear it will be dry shortly and we shall unveil it before the end of the episode. Well, it's still tacky and bleeding, as you can see. Yes, but I'm going to start the unveiling. Of course I am. I'm impatient. Is that the right adjective for run out of paint? That's what I meant, anyway. Well, yes, I haven't taken the headers, the rocker cover stuff off yet. And this has all still got its plastic masking on for now. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's what it looks like from this side. Not very impressive. This side, however, we're starting to get a feel for it, and I kind of like it. Yeah, what's it look like in there? Not bad. Yeah. Don't know if I want to do the fins silver or not. But yeah, that's not bad, is it? Here you go. Here's the full picture. So, having painted the cylinder heads, I'm now going to just sand the fins on that bottom outside edge, just to get an idea of what it's going to look like, because that will be easy to remask and respray if I need to. I.e. if I don't like it, because I've got a little bit of paint left. A little bit. Well, there we have it. Yeah, a few little nicks and crannies in the fins themselves. Well, that's the overall look compared to that, obviously. Yeah, not massively different. Not the same contrast, obviously, as with a matte black, because this anodized stuff is slightly translucent, reflective, letting the silver show through where the light hits it. So, yeah, I don't know if it's worth the bother. I shall ponder the Honda. And just FYI, I'm using a fairly rough 120 grit pad. You know, these squidgy pads. They're kind of good. Just firm enough. Well, I've gone a step further, and whilst not fully committed, I think I'm getting that way. Yeah, not bad. Better than that. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Now we're shedding some light on the subject. Yeah. Alright, I guess I'll have to do the rest of it. So there you go, a neat little trick to mask things off if you have the ability to do so, i.e. covers and things. And one final example where, again, I started off with a base colour, which overall was way too much, but then masked little bits of it off and then covered up with some black, so that there were some little details which I think are quite nice. So I'm just going to brush this down, get rid of any surface stuff, and then get some engine paint on it. Oh, well, yeah, I'm also gonna get rid of the HT leads, mask up the spark plugs, etc. So, having masked it all off, I had like half a can of that low gloss stuff. So, I decided to soak that area and start putting a little bit on the top end, as you can see. And yeah, so far so good. I'm going to need at least another 2 cans to do the whole engine block and that bit and whatever. I just thought I'd make a start. Rude not to. But yeah, I've given it a good soaking in there, and then everything else we can take care of later. I just thought I'd explore some options whilst I had it all masked off, and happened to be listening to the Sex Pistols, so I blamed Johnny Lydon. I don't know. Probably too much. Always paint over it with black. That's the point, right? I just thought I'd give it a go. See what I think. I'll have a look at it with my coffee in the morning. Never mind the light of day after coffee, another glass of wine, and it still looks a bit too much. Yeah, it's too much, isn't it? Having decided that the green's just a little too much, it has given some options though. So a little bit of additional masking around here and here and here and here, and we'll see what that turns out like, because now we're going to do a serious coat of black. Very nice. Okay, good coating on there. Yeah. Okay, just wait for that to dry. 10 minutes or so. No, I'm going to leave that overnight. In fact, probably for a couple of days, because I'm not going to be doing anything tomorrow. I know, shock horror. Kill. I have got another can, but I don't think I'm going to need it for the motor. I think that is sufficient. We'll see. But of course, I'm going to need some black paint for the frame, so it's all good. Meantime, our hose clips are out the dishwasher and into the frying pan. Yeah, Kermit green. Very nice. Turns out I did need to break into that second can, as always, and as with the Honda on these fins. Really difficult to get the paint in there, and you just have to keep kind of blowing it in bit by bit. I'm still not sure if that's not going to need some more, but we're getting there, and the top of it looks pretty sexy. We'll do when we sand off all the little highlights there. Yeah, cool. Can't wait to unmask it and see what the green bits look like. Well, at least the motor came out well, I think. Yeah, so those masking bits came out quite nicely. I'm just going to put a little Kawasaki sticker on top of that bit there. That's the old engine number there, VIN number, whatever. And that little bar there in green. A little nick out of it, that's a pain. But yeah, I think that came out quite well, all in all. All this side just needs a little polish up. Lovely. There you go. Perfect. Well, I think that just about covers it for engine painting. It's just a question of spraying into the fins at different angles to get as much paint as you can into the centre on the actual engine block itself, and not worrying too much about runs, because it all kind of drips off, and then if you sand the fins anyway, you're all good to go. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you thought it was mildly entertaining, useful, whatever, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down here somewhere if you haven't already. There's more in this series, general aspects of either renovating or building a cafe racer. So have a look at those too if you haven't already. And there will be more. So, yeah, subscribe, as I said. And encourage others to watch my lunacy.